You gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. We will not fall.
Lie down on your back. Any posture is comfortable here for you. So it might be just Shavasana. It might be soles of the feet together in butterfly. It might be constructive rest. Soles of the feet nice and wide of your mat. And then just bringing the knees in nice and gently together. So just take a few moments to get used to your surroundings. Take a few moments to get used to your back body lying on your mat. And take a few moments to just find some nice, steady, even and equal flowing breaths. And when we do come to our practice, each and every time, just to start tuning into the present, checking in with how you feel. Every time we come to the mat, we're always going to feel different. Whether it's a morning or an afternoon or an evening practice, our body, our mind is very different to the last time that we attended to our mat. And for our Yin practice today, we will work with balance and predominantly balancing out the sides of the body. So all the way from the ears, the neck, down through the rib cage, the waist, the hips, the outer hip, particularly down into the knees, the ankles, and all the way to the toes. So just now start to feel the sides of your body. Feel this container. Breathing in, expansion through the rib cage, expansion through the waist. And you can almost feel the lungs expanding out to the sides of your mat, really increasing the width of the area that you're taking up underneath you. And the exhale always allows us to let go of any tension and tightness that we might bring onto our mat after our day. So the inhale fills and the exhale empties. The side body poses allow us to stretch and remember the containers of our torso. As much of our life is spent in the forward moving plane, any attention to the edges of our body can come as a relief and a release. The right side of the body being known as the yang or the masculine, and the left side of the body known as the yin or the feminine, work in harmony to support us fully. Like night and day, sun and moon, light and dark, summer and winter, masculine and feminine, opposites balance the other with their dual qualities. And without one, the other would not exist. Find this fullness of breath as you breathe in. And this emptiness, this nothingness as you let it all out. And whatever position you are in here, whether the legs are extended, the feet are in butterfly, or you're in that constructive rest, just start to bring movement into the fingers, wiggling fingers, maybe stretching into the toes, releasing into the soles of the feet, and just clenching up the toes, clenching in the fingers into the palm, and then just stretch the toes out from one another and stretch the fingers. So again, just find that balance as you clench and stretch. And then again, wherever you are in that reclined posture, just roll the skull so that the chin drops down to one shoulder. It doesn't matter which one you want to go with first. So just lengthen out through the left side or the right side of the opposite side of the neck. Let the head become heavy as you take it over to that side, dropping chin to shoulder. And then nice and slowly roll the skull back in through the center and exhale, roll it over, take the chin to the opposite shoulder. So really feeling anything into the side of your neck from the earlobe to the collarbone. Take a few breaths. Try and relax the rest of the body. And bring that head back into center. Do that once more each side. So exhaling, rolling over, letting chin drop. So it's just the head and the neck. Moving, the body stays flat on the floor. Bring yourself back into center, just on the back of the skull. And exhale over to the other side. So we're staying completely still through the rest of the body, just moving head and neck. And then breathe it in, bring it back into center. Take the arms up above the head, and again, your choice. You can move the legs if you need to at this point. And reach the hands back as far as they can go. So you're going to lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Maybe the backs of the hands come down, maybe the elbows are slightly bent, but keep lifting the shoulder blades up towards the ears here. And then start to reach the left and the right arms independently. So you're reaching one hand longer than the other. So that might start to draw a shoulder blade down a little bit. And down on the other side. And you feel that stretch coming all the way from the hip, up the side of the waist, up the side of the rib cage, into the armpit, into the arm. Keep moving nice and slowly and steadily. Just moving shoulder blades. And then finishing off on the opposite side to where you started. And then bring the hands down to cactus. So nice 90-degree bend at the elbow there. Backs of the hands are down. And if you've got your butterfly pose there, just bring the knees into the center and let the feet go wide. So you're dropping into the pelvis and widening across the rib cage and the waist. So just notice here as the arms are spread out, try and spread the shoulder blades. So you might have to lift the upper back just a little bit. So you pull the center of the spine down, spreading the shoulder blades. Notice if there feels a little bit of a difference between the right side to the left. Maybe one wrist feels a little bit higher than the other. See if you can pull both wrists down nice and equally. Notice how that affects everything else. And then we're going to lift the right arm up and then just gently squeeze it across the body. And we roll over onto our left hip. And we're going to squeeze those palms together, squeeze the knees together. And then open that up and go the other side. So knees roll over to one side and the arm closes. Squeeze the elbows together. Oh, that's a little tighter that side. Bring yourself back through center, knees roll over, arm rolls to connect, keeping the head down, rolling back into center, and squeeze those forearms and palms together. Notice again, if you're feeling that one side is a little bit harder to squeeze in. I notice that my right side is a lot easier. And then last time, we're going to finish over on the left. So come all the way back to the left. And you're rolling onto your left hip. And then we're going to open up our right knee, placing our right foot into that IT band stretch. And this is where you might like to open out the chest, releasing the arms out to the shoulder height into a T. If you need to place that right foot on a block, it lifts it up. Notice where the direction of the toes are pointing. Try and point them down the length of your knee. Ground the foot, ground the heel. Start to release the right hip. We're going to drop the right hip deeper, deeper, deeper. So the underneath leg is bent. Good. That's it. And we're starting to gently ease that right knee away from us. IT band stretch. Relax into the glutes here. Relax into the outer hip. Sit with this one as we stay and hold. Intensifying twists means that you can include the head and the neck. So you would be turning the gaze to look towards your right hand, releasing into the right side of the neck. So whenever we're holding these yin postures, it's important to really let go of any tightness, gripping, clenching onto any of the bigger muscles, particularly here, the outer hip and those rotator 6 in the buttocks. Try and soften out through the gluteals. Doing great here. Try and spread those shoulder blades out if you can, remembering that cactus pose that we did. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, preparing to move, bringing the head back into center, bringing the arms back into the center, and gently releasing the knee and bringing both legs back into the center. Place the soles of the feet wide. Realign hips, pelvis, spine. Drop the knees together. Take a moment of recovery coming out of that posture. Again, it's always important to note how the posture feels when you come out of it, where it might have challenged you, where you might have felt it most. Always tapping into these sensations and experiences and postures. So just rolling onto your right hip this time. Both knees go over. Setting yourself up so the underneath leg is bent, and then you're gently placing that foot on the inside, near your knee and the thigh, and then planting the foot down again. The block helps to lift that foot up, opening up the hip, opening up the side body, opening up the chest, arms going out to the side. And even those first few moments as you start to come into the second side, you want to start feeling any differences, any imbalances, and where they come. So you're aiming to push the left knee away from you, away from the floor. The underneath leg is bent. Again, grounding shoulders, opening chest to sky, intensifying the posture just by gently dropping chin towards left shoulder. So really trying to release and relax any gripping, any clenching. I can almost guarantee that your glutes will naturally clench up. Sometimes without you even knowing it. And only when you bring that awareness to them can you then focus and let go. We're here for just a few more breaths. Remember, the toes are in line with the ankle. They're not turning inwards. They are tracking the line of the shin and the ankle and the foot. And nice and slowly breathe in and out. Bring the head back into center. Bring the arms back into the body. And then release the top leg and realign yourself into the center. Realign spine, hips, pelvis, drop the knees in towards one another. Soften out. So that's a gentle inward rotation of the hips there. And just keep the feet wide, open out the knees. You can release the hands if you like a little bit wider, and drop the knees right and left this side. So you're going to roll onto the outer and the inner edges of your feet. So nice wide knees, as wide as your mat. Good. Letting that top leg release so you can feel that outer stretch. Breathe in And roll over onto the outer and the inner edges of the opposite side of the feet. So keep the knees nicely apart. We're just staying and holding. Softening through that right outer hip. And breathe it in. Come back into the center and gently draw the knees in towards you, but keep the belly nice and free of the thigh so you can bring the knees down to the sides of your rib cage. So we're not compressing the thighs against the belly. We're dropping the knees towards the armpit, lengthening the spine, pulling those knees nice and tight. So it's technically a knees to mat feeling. We're pulling the thighs nice and parallel downwards. Good. And just release into the feet here. So flexing, pointing, circling, lengthening tailbone down. Good. And roll over to one side. Gently press yourself up to seated. Take your time to come up. Good. So just sitting on a block or a bolster or in butterfly pose, bringing the soles of the feet together. And just rock left and right on the sit bones so that you can then gently feel the sit bones underneath you. So you're just rocking left, right. Maybe a knee drops over. It's like, do you remember Weebles? Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. So the knee stops us from rolling all the way over. Has Sebastian got any Weebles? No. Oh. Sit nice and tall. You can hold the ankles if you like, or you can hold the shins. Sit nice and tall. We're going to drop the ear or down to the shoulder. But as we do that, that opposite shoulder doesn't lift up. So we're staying nice and level across the collarbones. Face stays forward. Oh, that is a stretch. Breathe in, bring it back into center, and then exhale. Let it go the other side. Keep the head looking straight forward. The chin doesn't drop or lift. Very easy to do that. So start to feel where the chin is centered. Maybe you can see your reflection in your gallery. Bring it back into center. Whoa. Turn the chin, stretch down that neck side there. And remember the sides of your body, the container, you're really long there too. So again, try not to dip the chin towards the shoulder. Keep it nice and lifted. Bring it back into center. Turn the neck to the other side. My neck is tight. Keep the chin nice and lifted. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the stretch wherever it comes for you. Good. And bring it back into center. Drop the chin towards the chest. So we're just dropping the head. We're not rounding the shoulders. Shoulders are still nice and tall in line with the hips. Feel the stretch down the back of the neck. You might feel it down the sides as well. And then gently lift the gaze and then take it all the way up. So imagine that you've got this thread lifting up from the sternum, nice little back bend, gaze goes to the sky. You're not dropping the head and the neck back. You're lengthening the neck, really engaging those neck muscles to support the weight of the head. If you had a 5 kilos handbag, that's what the head and the skull feel like. And bring it back into center. Take the hands to the knees, lift the knees together, take them just a little bit wider. Drop the hands down to the ankles and let the head relax down between the knees. Give the head a little yes and a little no. So shake the head, soft nose, and nodding. Yes. Roll up through the spine. We're going to roll over onto the knees this side. So again, we're rolling onto the outer and the inner edges of the feet. Knees are nice and wide. Sit nice and tall. Lift the knees up and go over to the opposite side. Good. Bring yourself back into the center. And we're going to stay in that deer pose. So set yourself up. Nice little 90 degrees here. So you've got 90 degree at the hip and at the knee and at the ankle. Open the chest up. That hip flexor begins to stretch and start to fold yourself over your front thigh. You can use a block or a bolster or a pillow to rest the body or the head, or you might not need one at all. I'm going to probably do most of the practice without props today. So exhaling, letting the head relax down, and maybe that is a release through the right glute for you, depending on which way you went, first of all. Probably left glute, actually, looking at you. Exhale a little deeper. And just take note again, are you clenching, tensing up anywhere in that side body that's connected to the mat? And are you clenching and tensing in the side body that is facing the sky? Deepening the posture, you'll extend the arms out in front of you, letting the body go down a bit further to the mat. Maybe the head comes down onto the mat. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. Prepare to move. Start to walk the hands back. You're going to press into those hands as you roll up through the spine. And we're going to turn towards our back leg. So you might want to bring that heel just a little bit closer in and gently take hold of the front knee. And this knee opens out a little bit deeper. So you're gently pressing that knee downwards, keeping a light flexion into that front heel, opening up into that side body twist. Long, deep breaths through the spine. Good. And then bring back into center. Before we go to the other side, we're going to extend the legs all the way along the mat. We're going to come into a side seal. So you can come down either with the bolster underneath you or on your forearm. The knees can be bent here or straight. When they're straight, it's a little bit more challenging. And maybe you come up into a straight arm. So it's a lying Buddha pose. So find which option works for you. Try not to let the ear sink towards the shoulder, but you're pushing that arm away. Nice. So we've got a nice side body stretch. You might feel it into the opposite side as well. I certainly do. I feel it into my QL, quadratus lumborum, keeping nice and lifted in the side body. Try not to let that ear sink down towards the shoulder. Pushing, pushing, pushing away. Yes, exactly. Oh, it takes a bit of work. Pull navel in. We're here for just a couple of minutes. Relax the face. Remember, side body, just as important as the front and the back. When that hand comes a little closer to you, that stretch becomes a little deeper. Yeah, notice that one. Good. And that's only a 2-minute hold here, so we're not far off that. Oh, it's easy to drop into the shoulder, isn't it? And nice and slowly bend at the elbow, come off the forearm, and then bring yourself back up. Change sides. So find that nice little square into the deer pose. Sit nice and tall. There's a gentle flexion into that front ankle. We're going to start to twist towards the thigh, letting that knee rest, getting the belly all the way over the thigh. Exhaling there. Using blocks, bolsters to support the body as you need. Maybe resting the head on the hands for the first couple of minutes. Softening into deer, relaxing all of the muscles, and only focusing really on the sides of your body. So relaxing the side that is connected to the earth, softening through the side that is shining up towards the sky. As we switch to the other side, notice any differences, imbalances. We don't need to judge, criticize, or compare. We only simply notice and observe. Trying to find balance between the yin and the yang sides of the body. Deepening the posture, you might release the head off of the hands, bringing the body deeper towards the earth, letting the head rest on your mat. Taking a deep breath in and out. Prepare to move. Bring the hands back. Support yourself as you roll up through the spine. Maybe the back leg comes in just a little bit so that we can do that opposition twist, taking hold of the knee for a little bit of leverage, opening out the chest to the back foot and gently squeezing that front knee downwards towards the mat. You're going to feel that into that hip there. Good. Bring yourself back into center. Those legs then squeeze together. You go lengthways along the mat if that feels good. Again, bending or straightening, choosing the forearm or the hand. And then try not to sink into that shoulder joint. Push, push, push away. So you've got this space between the earlobe and the shoulder. The closer that hand is towards the body, the deeper that posture is going to feel. Notice where you feel it on the other side. Do you feel it under here, or maybe at the back, or on that side? Good. Nice. And we're thinking about stacking joints here. So we're thinking about wrist in line with shoulder, shoulder in line with hip, hip in line with knee, knee in line with ankle. So my feet aren't over here, or they're not back here. So again, think about the alignment of your body as you've chosen to be. Just a 2-minute hold. Good. And nice and slowly, we are going to roll down. So if you need to face the screen again, that's okay. So your head comes to the front of your mat this time and just release from that lying Buddha side stretch. Open out the heels, bring the big toes to touch, soften through the belly and really relax the sides of your body here after those side stretches. Give yourself a little shake. Relax into the pubic bone and the hips and the buttocks. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders and just gently press yourself up into your tabletop position. Good. Just going to realign my mat. I'm going a bit skew. So let's come into some cat and cows and being aware here of the sides of your body through your cat and cows. So what's actually happening, usually we focus on the spine, the front and the back, but notice how the armpits and the waist and the rib cage and the hips all feel. Then we're going to introduce a nice little S bend here. So the head goes left and the hips go right. You can sink into that right hip, giving yourself a nice little stretch through the right side. And then your head goes left and your hips go right. Good. Then just move that with the breath. So exhale over, inhale center, exhale over, inhale center. You might notice where you feel that is in the glute or the outer hip. Again, go one side, left and right, once more. Good. Bring ourselves back into a child's pose. The knees are parallel, they're not wide and they're not squeezing together. There is room for the belly to rest between the thighs. Hands might reach out in front of you or they can come underneath the head. You can always use blocks and bolsters. Again, I'm trying to use no props for the practice. Exhaling, relaxing, releasing. Again, breathe into your container, the vessel of energy and of oxygen. And it contains all the most wonderful anatomy and physiology. So we're going to come into a twisted child's pose. So lift up the belly, lift up the spine, get the belly all the way over the right thigh. The hands reach out to the right side of your mat. You're going to pull down through the left hip. Maybe the head rests on a block or on the mat. Again, you can bring the hands underneath the head. Feel the expansion and the extension in the left side of the body, all the way from the hip right up to the armpit. We're here for a couple of minutes. Intensifying this posture, if you need to, is moving the hands further away from your mat. Take that breath in and that breath out. Walk the hands back in through the center. Just take a nice deep exhale in the center. Release back into that neutral, symmetrical child's pose. We lift the belly up and away over the top of the thigh, first of all, and then lengthen the arms away, exhaling the body down to the left. And again, just being aware of any differences as you swap from right to left. We want to find and achieve balance, but sometimes it's not always possible. But we certainly can work towards it. Taking a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bring your hands back into the center and just bring the head to the hands. Widen the elbows out. Exhale the knees a little bit wider there. Let the belly soften through the thighs. Hands come out. Lift back up into your tabletop position. Let's come into a twisted dragon from here. So again, you can choose to use your blocks. Right leg comes forward and it's a nice straightforward dragon dropping into the hips. We're going to start to take a nice little twist. So the hand might come over the front knee, just reaching down towards the mat. And the back hand might just come towards the back hip or your sacrum, wherever that feels most comfortable. So it's a twisted dragon. We're going to feel that all the way up both sides of the body here. We're here for a couple of minutes. It's not a too long a pose because it's very, very active and very, very strong. Keep the chest nice and lifted. Dropping into the left hip flexor as much as you can. Good. And slowly come out. Release the hands. Frame the front foot. And just release back the hips. And bring that right leg back. Sway out the hips if you need here. Circling one way. And circling the other. How's that twisted dragon feel? Don't do that one very often. This is our peak pose. So left foot comes forward. Again, make sure that you've got nice stability there. The foot goes a little bit wider. So you can take the right hand across the knee. And your left hand comes either to the sacrum or it wraps towards the right hip. Twisting the gaze. Opening out the chest. Lengthening through the spine. Navel pulls back gently. And drop those hips towards the earth. Takes a bit of focus to balance here in this posture and the twist if you're not holding on to the blocks. Just a few more breaths, doing absolute great here in this twisted dragon. It's not an easy one, so breathe with it. Release the hands back, framing the front foot. Take your time to come out, pulling the hips back, and release the left leg. Circle the hips one way and the other. Good. We're going to come off the knees, come to seated. Let's visit our half butterfly stretches. So choosing to place your right foot on the inside of either your calf or your thigh. And you can always use a block underneath that knee there if you need to. Good. Sit nice and tall. We're going to take a nice little twist towards the extended leg. So lifting up and over, you're going to relax the arm if it feels good on top of the head. If you don't want to take the arm up, just go into the twist from here. So we're opening up the chest and the shoulders towards that openness of our legs there in the half butterfly. Maybe the gaze looks towards the elbow. Try and release through the bent knee. Gently pulling navel in towards the spine. The spine stays long, even though we're in a side bend. And not collapsing in the underneath the side. That's it. Yeah, beautiful. Really nice. And let's release the hand and gently bring yourself back up. Whew, extend the leg and change sides. After this one, we come back down onto our backs. So again, using that block underneath the knee or a cushion, either at the thigh or at the calf, we're going to turn sideways on. So our shoulder and our chest are in line with our extended leg. Reaching up and over, the hand drops down by the ear, and the forearm comes to the top of the head. You can open the rib cage, taking the gaze up underneath the armpit. And remember, you do not have to use that hand. It does intensify that stretch in the side body because it's extra weight. Just a 2-minute hold. Keep lifting through the spine, pulling navel into the lower back. If you feel the chest caving a little bit, and I mean rolling kind of inwards, open the rib cage. So it's like a side angle pose or a triangle pose. You're going to roll that rib cage up towards the sky. Remember, side body, that container, that torso, open it nice. Yeah, beautiful. A few more breaths, doing great. Releasing the top hand first of all, and then gently Press yourself back up to seated. Woo! And then bring the knees in. Give yourself a little squeeze here. So squeeze the knees together. Back folds over, letting the head relax down towards the knuckles. Unroll the spine. And take your time to come down onto your backs. Last posture is our side stretch of Banana Asana here. So before we go into that, just draw those knees back in once more. Keep the space between the thighs and the belly by pulling the knees nice and wide of the rib cage, lengthening the tailbone down the mat, pulling the whole entire spine nice and flat. We're trying to get those thighs parallel to the mat. So knees are wide. Yeah, that's it. Nice. And then extend the legs all the way along the mat. Give the toes a big old point and a stretch. Lift the arms up above the head. Interlace the fingers and give the body a big, big stretch. And then shuffle the shoulders over to your top right corner. So the hips stay exactly where they are. You're just shuffling the shoulders. Arms, if it feels comfortable, you can keep them above the head, taking hold of the left wrist. Now wiggle the feet to the bottom right corner. And intensifying this posture is simply resting the left foot over the right ankle. So it's our crescent shape. Our letter C, or the shape of a banana. And in this posture, really allow the left side of your body to soften and release. You might feel it all the way from your armpit down to your ankle. Try and relax in the left hip, particularly left waist, left buttock. Taking a deep breath in. Nice long deep exhale out. Bring the head back into the center. Bring the arms and the shoulders first of all. Arms go down by the side of the body and you just release the left foot. Come into neutral, symmetrical Shavasana. Pause for a moment. Feel the neutrality in the spine. And then just sway the hips a little bit. And that in turn shakes the legs. That in turn shakes the buttocks. And that in turn shakes the sides of your torso and your upper body. Lift the arms up above the head. Stretch the legs along the mat. Big, nice, long side body stretch. Feel the stretch from the ankles to the wrists. Shuffle the shoulders to the left corner. Take hold of the right wrist and then shuffle the feet to the left. Again, choosing the option of placing the right foot over the left. Starting to settle in on your final posture, second side. 3 minutes here. Trying to relax through the right side of the body as much as possible. All of this practice today has been based around the sides of the body, rib cage, waist, hips, outer thighs, outer legs, outer feet. Taking a breath in and a breath out. Shuffle the shoulders and the arms and the head back into center. Release the arms by the side of the body. Release the feet. Take a moment in neutral. Feel each sides of the body now. The yin and the yang, the right and the left, the masculine and the feminine, completely balanced. And drawing the knees in, roll and massage out, making yourself warm and ready for your final relaxation. Just circling out the knees one way, and if there's something else that you need to do before we go into relaxation, go ahead, do that now. Or just making sure that you're comfortable and you're warm. Body temperature tends to really drop very, very quickly. Turning lights off if you're close to switches, and using eye pillows or blankets to shield bright lights. And it's really important to find balance, not just in our bodies, not just on the yoga mat, but also in our daily lives. And certainly after the busyness of summer we start to move into autumn. Following the autumn equinox, that is a time of balance. And it's making sure that you've got the balance in your own lives just as much as you have on your yoga mat. And if you are a yang practitioner quite a lot, doing loads of vinyasa flows or hatha practices, then we certainly need the yin to balance all the dynamic yoga out. And vice versa. We can't just do the slow and relaxing. We need a little bit of both. And this is a quote by Pythagoras. If there be light, then there is darkness. If there is cold, then there is heat. If there is height, then there is depth. And if there is solid, there is fluid. If there is hard, there is soft. If there is rough, there is smooth. If there is calm, there is tempest. And if there is prosperity, there is adversity. And if there is life, there is death. And when we come to Shavasana, this is seen as almost the ending, and some deem it to be the death of your practice. And you're going to be reawakened for the rest of your day and the rest of your evening and the rest of your week ahead. I'll leave you for a few moments of peace and quiet, let you know when it's time to come back around. Beginning to take a few deeper breaths as you bring your awareness back into your space, onto the mat and back into the body, wiggling fingers, moving toes. Taking a few deeper breaths as you stretch and drawing the knees in towards the chest and just gently rolling out through the spine. And always being aware of the side body as you come out of Shavasana. Taking time to roll over to one side, just pausing there. And then bringing yourself up to a comfortable seat, bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra at heart center, sitting nice and tall, and just feel the sides of your body now, all the way from the earlobes right down to the feet. And just check in with yourself on this idea of balance, finding the yin amongst the yang and the yang amongst the yin. And where you can invite further balance into your yoga practice or into your daily life. Always thanking yourself and your body for your practice, and I thank you. Namaste.